Heroic Lich King, the hardest boss in all of World of Warcraft Classic, has already been defeated. Just a little over an hour and 30 minutes after the launch of Icecrown Citadel, Progress went in and one-shot the Heroic Lich King encounter. Beefbar and Noda, my guild, got the one-shots right after this, so within minutes, the top 3 guilds were able to full clear this. But today, we are going to be breaking down the Progress run, the world first ICC with Anfall. Anfall is an enhanced shaman, probably one of the best, easily one of the best enhanced shamans in the entire world. So guys, I hope you enjoy this breakdown, and one more time, congratulations to Progress.
It would be devastating to lose right here if the system message would come up that some other guild had beaten us.
During the RP, you can summon them in with the buff, and they pretty much just snapshot a corruption. You would have saved like 30 seconds on Saurfang because the warlocks just do such ridiculous damage the entire time, right? Yeah.
So I can just walk you through what we try to do is that we send a rogue to disarm traps and locate traps, and then we send a paladin in so that he gathers the mobs and drags them to a side, while the rest of the raid hangs back a little bit, and then we try to free action potion into rocket boots, into cloaking device. So some people prefer to do this with a macro. Me, myself, I just click my shit, right? Because I don't want to accidentally like press the wrong key behind the shit. So I'm actually full on clicking this. But yeah, we failed. I think we had 2 players that didn't make it. And if 2 players don't make it, it's still somewhat fast. So then it was just bring up the portal and start summoning them in.
So do you know why they failed? Why they didn't make it? Did they get knocked out from like an AoE or?
So there's one type of mob, like spider mobs, that are behaving the same as they do in Stratholme Undead. And they cast these little bugs or whatever. And these bugs are super annoying that if they get casted on you and you cast a cloaking invisibility mechanic, they will still travel to you and break your invis. I'm not sure if that's exactly what happened to both of them, but that is something that we consistently struggled with on the PTR.
Yeah, I think we also saw whenever you were in combat with the first, like, any of the mobs, that there was a chance of them breaking you out. So opted to kill the first little pack, because then you can safely make it past everything like very consistently by just using Ocean. But that also means you can't pre-pot here on Lord Marogar, but it gives you the option then to use your cloaking device later, which is, I think, nice. I think that could have helped save you guys, but you didn't even have like the ship loaded, which is crazy.
No, I don't. We had many inconsistencies with the ship later on, that some people, when they got into combat with the NPCs, then the ship wouldn't spawn. Some people would get perma combat and wouldn't be able to enter the cannons. So we were kind of scared going into the gunship that we thought that we had figured it out, but we definitely didn't believe that we had 100% figured it out. And I'm gonna keep it real with you. I don't know exactly why I got destroyed. Like, why did I have to jump off that bridge to get teleported back? I don't know why that happened to me and not to everyone. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see when we get. Stead never uses. Does he not play with music? Dude, wild. Yeah, I mean, that's super unfortunate. You guys opted for. Then is it? Oh, are you the only shaman? You guys don't have a resto shaman ever?
Yeah, we do. So I'm doing a bit flexibility with the totems, that when our blood decay finally goes to a prot pala later on, I'm playing improved wind fury. When we have a blood decay, I'm doing nature resistance totem, stuff like that. And our resto shaman is just always Wrath of Air. And I don't know exactly the math behind it, but I am sending Lust on our Infernals every boss. So that is a value that we get that is maybe not enough to warrant the spot for an enhancement shaman at the end of the day, but it's at least some value by playing double shaman.
Yeah, it is. That's like the best part of the double shaman. Obviously, you have like more options with totems, but especially if you're stacking warlocks, I think eventually, if things don't change, we're all stuck with stacking mages, which is going to be interesting. Oh, do you guys skip? Oh, you do kill these. I was like, no way you skip all of these. I thought you were pulling them to the side to skip them all. I didn't know if you could. I was like, how would you do the boss without the room?
Yeah, I mean, I know that there's definitely gonna be some wacky shit in this room when you have more gear. Just like Ulduar look completely different the last 2 weeks compared to the first 2 weeks. I think this room is gonna get heavily explored by speedrunning guilds like yours and mine.
Yeah.
I don't think this is the fastest way to do it, but it's consistent and safe.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys have this mentality, because Progress is, I mean, overall, technically they're the most successful speedrun or progression guild ever in Classic. But like on speed or on races to World First, do you guys have the mentality of like play clean over like go for things that could be risky and save time?
I think there's a mix. We definitely say that, oh, don't take risks, but by that it's usually like don't stay in unnecessarily, don't try to greed a couple hundred more DPS. But we definitely do like skips and strats that are risky. Like if they fail, we will lose time. But yeah, leadership very much encourages the DPS players to just relax, don't push too hard.
Yeah, move out for mechanics instead of just being like, I hope it's not me, let's keep pumping.
Yeah, so Lady Death Whisper is a super consistent, easy boss as long as melee just run the fuck away from the ghost spawns. But if melee try to stay in and try to be smart and like, it's not going for us, I'm safe, then it often turns into a shit show. And that extra DPS you gain by staying in and making these calculated risk assessments, it saves a couple of seconds, but it increases the likelihood that we lose people, and then it's just really bad.
Yeah, I mean, if you die and greed damage then it's not worth it at all, right? And in like a race like this, it's not like we're down usually to like seconds, like second differences, where it's like you try to pull off everything. It's just like race to World First is usually won by like not wiping. But even so, you guys, sure. I haven't watched the whole Beef Bar run, right? So Beef Bar got second, we got third, but even so, you beat Beef Bar by a good amount of time, even with like there was an issue, right? We'll get into Gunship right after this boss.
Yeah, out of all the things that could go wrong, I would say the Gunship bug is a very small problem. I think failing the skip at the start would have been detrimental, and like you guys, did you wipe on Saurfang?
Yeah, so because we were trying to do that summon tech, we had 4 warlocks that were being summoned that all couldn't be summoned. So after the entire RP of Saurfang, we called the wipe like at like 10% in, like 90%. We were like, we just need to die. Like we have no ranged. Half of our ranged isn't here.
Yeah, so
looks like
wiping on Saurfang is so punishing because then you get the extra RP time again. That's like 1.5 minutes plus the wipe. It's so painful. Oh shit.
Here we go. Let me move you on top of, or just near me. I'll make both of us smaller since we're gigantic right now.
Yeah. You need to show the damage meter for the boys.
Yeah, right. It's necessary. We're both going up here. That's where we are. I'm keeping it there.
Yeah.
All right, Hunters on top. Obviously, as everybody knows, Hunters are the Giga Chad class now. Everyone should just play Hunter forever. We're going to stack them, and they are... Damn it. Hunters do really well in this race, though. Hunters, like, are very, very solid overall damage, especially with Trap Launcher. So it felt like that was one of the best classes. What did you think? Because I know you saw my video talking about like the best classes for the race, but I didn't see, because I'm sure you were like, and just wait for the enhanced shaman. But,
no, I mean, I think it was you and Pummel in that video, right? When you talked about it. It was super entertaining, and I think you had done a bit of PTR going into those discussions, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so I felt like you had quite a good idea about, okay, these fights are bad or good for this class or this role. But when I heard you guys talk about enhancement, all I kept hearing is that we just haven't seen a good enhancement shaman yet. Because tier 9 bis enhancement shaman, if you play a bit greedy and you do
yeah, if you position yourself maybe a bit risky, but so you at least can react, the class is really good at the start of this tier.
Because you're in full
But
gear.
then it goes to shit, yeah.
Yeah, like Unholy DK, where everybody scales. Yeah, so here you guys do the skip. This is where things go wrong for you. And this is also a skip that I guess everyone does. But like, yeah, you're all here. It is so intriguing that the ship is literally not here for you. I've never seen this.
Yeah, so this never happened to me personally, but we knew it could happen because it had happened to our raiders. So when I arrived and I was like, I don't know what my expression is gonna be like, but we make a decision that everybody who can't see the ship use jump. And I mean, if the raid leader tells you to jump, you fucking jump.
Yeah. It's
So-
like, yeah, you look around, you're like, what the fuck was that? Oh my god.
Yeah, because after the call to jump, there was no more calls. Then they started talking about, I don't know, give kings to hunters or some cringe shit. And I was like, okay, I'm dead on the floor, by the way. What do I do?
Yeah, do we release? Do we stay? What are we doing here?
Yeah, so right now they're talking about all weird type of assignments, and we're like 6-7 people flying in, and all of us are just quiet, being like, if we interrupt leadership now, we're gonna get fucking spanked, dude.
That's so funny, because now it's like they have to play like relatively clean. There's like what, 9 people died, so you have to play relatively clean, but Gunship at least is the easiest fight in history, so at least that's fine. It's just going to take a little bit longer since you have less DPS to like kill the ads. One thing that we started doing today, it was our first time doing it, and I think we even learned it from Simon Eyes. I don't know if you guys have been doing this forever, but if you get a distract out, like the split second the sorcerer spawns, he won't move for like 7 seconds. So you can just make this really fast so that he doesn't like he'll literally never freeze the guns.
Cannons,
yeah. Today was our first time doing it, and it worked.
Yeah, I have to say that's nothing that we even thought about. We just assume that, of course, that mob is gonna be in combat when it arrives at the ship. I don't think our rogues have tried that.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was gonna work either. So if anyone's watching, that's super easy. It makes the fight faster, but this fight is like impossible to wipe. Once you guys did it, you summon everyone. Now you're at Saurfang RP, the bane of my existence, the longest RP in history. It's so long.
Yeah, this fight is really good for enhancement. So one thing that enhancement shamans are doing now is, because we're playing with rain, rain doesn't have an ICD. So what you want to do is that you always have pre-pull gear on. So below my health bar you can see a bunch of random shit. It's like a dying curse, a neck, helm, and I'm proccing all of my shit before the pull. And then I swap to my normal gear. And not only am I like proccing spell powers for a big fire ally, I'm also using 2 pieces of tier 4 to give more strength to the DKs. And if you get really comfortable, you can do this on virtually any fight. Especially if the tanks maybe drag the boss a bit closer to the drop position of the totems. And yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, this fight is the epitome of like, you can pre-pull. It's funny too, because like in parse raids, if you ever watch like parse raids, they always reset every boss usually, so they always have the chance to like do all of the things before a boss fight to get the extra damage out. But this fight, like, you're forced to. You just sit here. There's nothing we can do other than just wait.
Yeah, this RP is painful having to do again. So unfortunate for you guys. If there's any boss where you get really punished, it's probably this guy and Lich King.
And this is, yeah, so this is like right around now we were like, okay, everyone, we have to wipe. And like this boss early on can take forever to kill you, you know? So now we had to sit here waiting for him to actually take us down. But you, look at you, a blue DK.
Yeah. I mean, this fight is really good for enhance. There's the only thing that's kind of holding you back is that I don't know if you can trust your hunters and range DPS to over aggro you on the spawn, but Chain Lightning is super good on this spawn.
Does Chain Lightning do full damage on the ads?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't even know that. That's juice. So right away, it just like blasts them. Actually, you're holding for a second to make sure that they have some aggro. Yeah.
Yeah, so the dream would be to send an early Chain Lightning and then get Chain Lightning back and do one more. But I mean, if everybody else does their job, they're probably dead by that time. So usually you only get one Chain Lightning per spawn. But you could get two if you really play for the powers.
Yeah, but eventually they're gonna die so fast when we have even more gear that...
Yeah, I can't imagine what 30% with full tier 10 bis is gonna look like on this. It will barely show the nameplates until they're gone.
It's crazy to think, like, I don't know, the 30% buff is so much in my eyes, right? With tier 10, how do you think it's gonna change like the meta, or like what classes benefit the most from that as we're finishing? Because you've done a lot of Wrath of the Lich King, so you kind of would know.
Yeah, it's gonna be a bit weird because we still get cooldown reset on encounter end, and we didn't have that on private servers, right? So the fights are gonna get super short, and I think classes that have a lot of cooldowns that they can maybe use once or twice per fight are gonna get like so much value, because then they just get reset back and shit. So I think Feral is gonna pop off. I think Mage stacking is gonna be incredibly interesting to see. The fact that you can AoE mobs while running, you have Blink, you have Invis, you have maybe you have some drummers that are mages. There's so much interesting transitions and movement you can do with a heavy mage comp that no other class can do.
Yeah. And that's what, I mean, it's especially if you can save 7 minutes or whatever on Lich King alone, then like if you would have gained a little bit of time by bringing like ferals for other sections of the fight, it has to outweigh the mages just on Lich King alone, and they're just so good for everything. Do you guys do the strategy where obviously your ranged are attacking the blood beasts to get aggro on them right away, but if they get close to any of the range, do you have your melee assigned to be able to taunt them back towards you?
Yeah, so the Death Knights play on the opposite side. The tank plays closest to the ranged DPS, so the DKs are kind of in charge of taunting them back. And then possibly the hunter could also bounce it back again. So you have so much time.
Yeah, that's actually really clean. And then here,
I think Talash, our hunter, died on that fight because he went into melee or something and he got hit by the beasts. So apparently rocket launcher can't fix everything, I guess.
went into, because he was probably trying to drop a frost trap and was like late on it potentially. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. The thing that I appreciate about playing in progress is that when people make stupid mistake and learn and get like stupid prizes, they don't feel the need to like explain, oh, I was trying to do this, and oh, I wanted. People just shut up and are like, okay, you fucked up, go again. And we don't waste any time with ego. And whenever people get too much into their ego and they try to defend it, I just zone out and I just mentally go to Pandora in Avatar and I'm just with the animals and the flowers. I just zone out so hard.
That's one of the major differences from any of the top guilds to like every other guild, right? Is like, if you can't just like own up to your mistake and then be like, all right, I learned from it, this is what's going on, you know, and then like move on and just, for one, finish the raid and have a clean raid, but then like not make the mistake again. But like a lot of times people will be like, oh, well, it wasn't my fault because I didn't have the CD. You're like, how wasn't it your fault? You killed yourself. So I really like that also. That's something that we have over in Noda as well. Everyone kind of has accountability. Did you guys not have rogues run ahead here? I actually didn't look, but to check for traps?
So we play with one rogue, and he ran ahead while we were doing the giant downstairs, and he said that right side is clean. How's the patrol looking? Okay, then we start Rotface. So we make the decision whether we go Potato Face or Festergut based on the info that the tanks and the rogue give each other.
That's really like clean to have the decisions made in real time, and nice raid leading. I did see that your unholies all use Gary. I'm curious to see if they're gonna have Gary again right here. because we stopped using Gargoyle on that first pull in this wing because it wasn't up for a little bit into the boss. Something.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. A lot of the people that play in Progress, they just love min-maxing and ICDs and all of these things. I'm the only enhancement shaman. We have a new guy from Maximum Effort now that's trialing as enhance, but I don't listen. I honestly can't think of a more boring subject than listening to how classes should min-max certain things. So I don't know when they do these things. I have no idea, actually.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's going to be interesting. We'll see it right here. See, you have Bloodlust for 24 more seconds, and they still haven't had Gargoyle. And that's why we also, like, we didn't think it was worth it on an AoE pack where none of the DKs were on the top of the meters, right? Like, it was the Demo Lock and a few other people were even on the top of the meters. There's the first Gargoyle, but that's probably the one person that didn't have it. So now they're going to have Garys without Bloodlust that are now being summoned, which probably, I don't know, I think is less optimal. But yeah, we also have, I mean, as an Unholy DK, you kind of have to do that. I don't know how much you need to on Enhanced Shaman, but Unholy DK ICDs are so important. So like timing them with your Gary is like kind of everything. You just do such doo-doo DPS if you have a bad opener. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of tricky with the two dogs before the boss, because the dogs have a lot of health and they take time to kill, but you don't get your CDs back from killing them.
Yeah.
We experimented a lot with like, should we lust and do double dogs? Should we use our CDs like this, like that? And maybe some other classes arrived at that they should use Garg on it and get more Garg value overall, but obviously the Rotface suffers from that.
Yeah, exactly. So like whichever one, Rotface or Festergut, whatever you were gonna go to, technically doesn't have like a nice juicy Gargoyle. That's just Unholy DK things. They're not really gonna have to worry about that soon, because Unholy DKs were like great for today in our guilds, right? And then they're gonna kind of move out of fashion pretty quickly.
Yeah. I think on private servers we played with one Unholy pretty fast, and after that all of the other DKs either re-rolled or they played one Frost. That was pretty much it. But now I'm hearing all about this Blood DK hype, which is super interesting because we never had that on privates. So I'm a bit excited to see if that's actually gonna be a thing.
I doubt we're ever gonna see it in our raids, you know? Probably in like GDKPs, but like Blood DKs definitely can pump, but like they're just not as good as other classes. So once we end up getting to speedruns, we'll just like, I mean, player over class, yes, but like that, why wouldn't the Blood DK just play the Frost or the Unholy? I don't even know if we'll end up seeing Frost DKs in speedruns. You guys are just gonna run Enhanced Shaman, right? Like you just do the job of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much up to me. I think leadership has said that as long as I pull my weight in the game, they don't give me a spot to be nice or anything, or it's just that if I pull my weight, they will keep giving me a spot. And my goal is to make everybody that tries to take the spot from me have to fucking work. So my goal is to obviously speedrun in tier 10.
Yeah, fuck yeah. I mean, you're obviously, you said that Enhance is really strong right now, so you're like giga blasting this boss, and all of the DKs kind of obviously fuck themselves a little bit, but I mean, you make Enhance work in so many comps that I wouldn't think Enhance would like work super well. You've always pulled it off and then had like crazy runs. You've always, it's yeah, you were saying it earlier, it's a player gap and you play really, really well. And then look at that, getting a trauma, juice, put it on. Serenity said, do you want to see some tech that we had that got fixed so we couldn't use? Yeah, if you DM it to me or if you post it here, I can grab it.
Yeah, Serenity was the rogue that we used for this race, right? And he was a big part of the tech that involved tier 4. But it might have been the fact that we tried it so much that ended up putting it on Blizzard's radar, so it got removed. We don't know that for sure. We will never know, I guess.
I would wager it was. I'm just gonna say I would wager. You know, I would wager it was, because they definitely saw the things happening, right? Oh, 2 people died here. Do you know why?
Yeah. I think it was just a mistake. I mean, this is Stinky, right?
Yeah.
I can't say. Can you jump back? Actually, I kind of want to flame healers if I can.
All right, here I jump back right before their deaths. I think decimate. Oh, that was kind of a while too. I mean, technically they could have like Hellstone, but they just didn't get healed.
It's like watching a car accident in ultra rapid, like slow motion.
Look at this.
I can't.
Fuzzy almost dies too. Fuzzy heals. Oh my god, that was. But you guys are running 1 less healer than we ran. You ran like 5 heals for most of the run, right? Maybe it was 4 heals for most of the run. 5 heals for most of the run.
Yeah, I just want to say that I looked at our logs and the overall feel of the run. Our healers played extremely well. Like, it's so
4.
nice as a healer
Jesus.
to come from the PTR and then go on live where the game is much more responsive. There's no lag. There's no like weird shit with the timers. And like all of our healers just pumped way harder here than they did on PTR. And as a player, I felt safe all the time. Like, it was so sweet.
A good healing core is so clutch for these types of runs, right? Like the speed runs, like they can control the pace, because if not, you'll have to sit down and like wait for mana or wait for getting healed and stuff. So yes, you guys they pumped. And obviously, yeah, PTR always feels really good for me because I'm right next to the servers. Because for PTR, if anyone's watching doesn't know, they're the North American servers, but like everyone else that we play with is all EU, and so everyone else has so much like MS, and that's the normal MS I have all the time, but it's way worse if your whole raid goes from switching back and forth. It feels really awkward. But today probably felt like really smooth now having it all.
Yeah, I mean, the healer team of Progress is kind of interesting. I've always believed that the healer team should be kind of vocal and coordinate stuff, but the healer team of Progress is much more like they're kind of quiet. They talk a lot before the raid, after the raid. They DM each other, but they're like super silent, and that is a bit weird to me. And sometimes it makes me feel unsafe. But today they were so good.
So they're like never saying like, all right, we need to desack this. You're gonna use this. They're like, all right, we scheduled it before. If you forgot, you're fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, kinda. And there's also the thing that we have very vocal tanks, and our raid lead is Death Knight DPS. And I don't know exactly how Julius manages to do so much DPS and talk as much as he is. His brain is just firing way too fast.
Yeah, because he's always pumping. Julius just plays so well. Why are you playing away from the rest of the melee on this fight?
So there's no real benefit to being stacked. If you're stacked, it increases the likelihood of green shit on that specific area, and that's nice for the people that want to AMS. But like for people like me who can't really deal with the goo coming in, I'd rather just play on my own, and if it comes on me, then I'm perfectly safe all the time. So I just go and be an island, kinda. I don't really care about what the strategy is. If it says on a spreadsheet, play on the left leg, I don't read, I don't care. I think this is a fight where people can just use their brain.
And then if it is on the other melee stack, do they go all and group up on you, or do they? Yeah.
Then they come to me, and then I'm like, are you gonna go away, or do I have to go away? Because I don't wanna, like, you clutter my screen so much. And usually they go away because they read the spreadsheet and I don't.
They always go back to the left, and you're like, I don't care about this right now.
There's no DPS gain. It's only like, why do we go back? And I never get a good answer. It's like, please, Anfall, just stick with the rest of the melee. And I'm like, I have nothing in common with these apes. Like, just let me go and play my game.
I love that. It's so funny. He's disregard raid lead. Yeah, everyone heard it here first. I'm sure if like Julius was like, no, you have to, and they'd be like, yeah, but it's like, there's nothing, unless you can see a benefit there, right? Like, they're gonna all come to you right now. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna be able to just bloodlust all of the Infernals, which is a nice boost for all of your Warlocks.
Yeah, so we have one Warlock that is kind of in charge of all of it. So J-Ro is he does a lot of theory crafting and min-maxing for the class. So if he tells me to lust, I just assume that the other people are picking up on it as well. So I don't really care whenever anybody else does their Infernal. When J-Ro does his Infernal, that's when I do my shit, because I trust his call.
We have a lock. Well, I mean, we have Take Note, and he's like kind of in charge of like when everybody's using Infernals and stuff, and very similar. J-Ro's goated. I love him. NA player.
Yeah, he's great. He just, I don't know. We have this thing in progress where leadership sometimes has to stop him, say, please, J-Ro, just be normal. And it usually grounds him, and it makes him perform again, because sometimes he just flies off mentally.
Oh my god, that's actually great. He's just like going too crazy. Let me see. Does Max want to join here? That's hilarious. This section here, you guys, there's nothing really to do. You guys just like, did you ever find yourselves getting stuck in combat around here?
We tried so many different ways, because this is, first off, it's so boring and it's such a time lost, like standing here. Like in this, can you get past it somehow? But we legit couldn't find a way for this gate to open until this event was over.
Oh, you just went to, you're like, well, there's nothing else to do, so I guess I'm gonna go to this screen. Might as well.
Yeah. I mean, I got some rat jams, I'm happy, that's all I needed.
Yeah, this was, I mean, I was blasting music too. Let me see if, alright, let me see if we end up getting, Max might want to join. So I'll see if he sends a friend request. If you're listening, Max, I posted my Discord in your chat.
So I think Professor Putricide is arguably the worst fight in the entire instance as Enhance, because you can barely get uptime, and sometimes you get like an orange buff that doesn't allow you to stay on the target that you want. The boss is constantly being moved, so you can't really use your fire elemental totem to fire Nova all the time. So it's just constantly bad choices compared to Deathbringer Saurfang, where everything you do just gets value, value, value.
Yeah, you literally like straight up cannot do anything but move on this fight like all the time. So you're what percentage of your damage is your totem? Guys, welcome to the stream. Thanks for the raid, Max.
So I think overall the fire elemental totem and snapshotting it correctly and shit has gotten out of proportion like value. It's not that important. It's kind of a small portion of your total damage done. I've actually experimented a lot with just, if I can't press Fire Nova on my prio target, I will just start dropping a fucking Magma Totem. It doesn't matter how big and juicy my Fire Ela was. I need that Fire Nova damage, and I'm starting to see log support that the Fire Elemental just doesn't scale that well that we hoped. I don't see the value anymore.
Yeah, so now it's like just move your totems. I mean, it's smart because if you have no uptime of your explosions, like no fire damage going out, that's so much of your damage, especially whenever there's AoE. But like this fight, yeah, you're literally moving away from your totems at all times. Look how garbage that is. There's nothing you can do. Yeah, just keep placing.
Here, look how close this is to a fucking fiesta. Look at the orange guy kiting, and then look at me. I don't know if it's this orange or if it's the next one, but I swear to God, I almost had a heart attack.
Did you almost get knocked into it? We'll see. I think it's going to be the next one.
No, I would have been fine, but it might be the next orange one. That was so bad.
I also like that you guys keep the boss like sort of positioned there early so that you can do a lot of damage. You could potentially leave your totem there, but you kind of need the damage for the ads, right? Would it be worth it?
I think the fire elemental totem is over by the green spawn, so my hope is that our tank is gonna drag the boss like he does now, and I can fire Nova the green and the boss at the same time. I think it's the most value you can get, but yeah, I mean, this fight, I don't think this fight is quite figured out by me yet. I don't know exactly how I should
play it yet.
Yeah, on this fight, we had the unfortunate luck of. Did you see what happened to us?
No, I actually haven't seen your VODs yet.
Okay.
Tomorrow I'm gonna sit on stream and just look at other guilds, I think.
Well, let me pause it for 1 second. I have to show you this. Let me see if I have mine. Okay, so on this fight, we have. Let me see if we can go back. Okay. So we're fighting Professor Putricide. We wiped at 2%. At 2% on Professor Putricide because I think this is the first one. Okay, here's the first one. Because at like the transition, the first transition, one of the Valkyries came in. Somehow we were in combat with one of the Valkyries that rotates around the Lich King's portal, and it comes into the raid. Mid-fight, it was like, what is going on right now? And it's already like summoned its ads. It like here, there we go. We can see it come in right now. And it's summoned its ads. It's so ridiculous. We're like, yeah, we have to hit it now, right? Like, all right, try to transition first, start the transition, and then deal with all of the ads. So we've never seen that happen.
Why? How?
We bring the Valkyr to the here, I'll go back to your VOD. We bring the Valkyr to the ads in front of like Valithria. And usually they just deal with it and it eventually dies and like you never have to think about it again, but it also starts RP earlier.
Sorry. Did you see that? Did you see this fucking trash guild that almost wiped?
Hey, I went back. Let's see.
Yeah, I can't. My heart. I can't.
Oh, that was so close. Was that on Jayru?
I need to know who that was because I'm gonna flame.
Right here, I went back one more time. Let's see this. It is a warlock. I think it is Jayru. No, devil.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
That was so close. That was so close. If that had just meleeed him, if it didn't perfectly time out that was swapping targets, if it had just meleeed him, he was, you guys were like maybe fucked.
Yeah, so those are the exact type of. Okay, that wasn't even a calculated risk. That was just a player being like, oh shit, too late. But even if that was intentional, those are the exact type of plays that you can't do during a race. You can't.
Yeah, that tight of a play is not worth it.
No.
It meleeed me actually, but it had low stacks because of low HP. It actually did melee. That's wild. Demon. Oh my god, let's see
go
if I got
queue some
this.
more fucking whoos and poos or whatever you guys do. Go prac.
Let me say, send it. That's so funny. But yeah, Putricide, one of the longer fights, really long fight. So this one also is really shitty to wipe to. The worst is obviously Lich King, because that's just the longest fight ever.
Yeah, wiping in the throne room on Lich King is probably the worst thing that can happen to you in a race.
That's where we knew we were behind, but we were like, if someone doesn't one-shot Lich King, that's fine then, because Lich King is like so scripted. Once you're really good at it, it's like just on farm, right? But Putricide usually things can't go wrong. That's just having to switch DPS was like kind of crazy. But usually things don't go wrong. Jayru on top of the meters. Oh, does your meter not track the damage from the ad? Did you like remove it? Because usually that thing just collapsed like so ridiculously.
Oh yeah. No, I don't show the abo.
Yeah. Because it's such an obnoxious, like you see like your DK tank at like an insane like 20k DPS and you're like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's pretty cranked.
What would you say are some of the scarier things in this wing or even on this fight? Because I know a lot of people are going to be progressing on Professor Putricide, but like, do you have any things that people might need to focus on that you guys have down easy?
I think the more DPS you have, the easier this fight gets, because if you're able to kill both of the blobs really fast, then you won't have to deal with as many bounces and chases.
If you kill the boss really fast, you won't have to deal with that many stacks and swapping and doing it.
But I guess if you want to progress this the week, like first 2 weeks maybe, then I think just try to get your melee to always stack up to share the green, even if they have like the orange buff. If they always just try to get bounced from the green, they are always helping. Because melee are so bad on this fight. And I think if you can control the green damage a bit, then getting a couple more explosions aren't that bad.
Fully agreed. I think so too. I think I had to do that today. And also you can dot the green or the orange one. It doesn't matter which buff you have. You can dot one of them before it does its cast, and then your dots will do full damage. So like if you're a melee or unholy DK or something and you're soaking there, you can just dot it up and your dots will do full damage.
Yeah, I have no idea what happened right here. I used rocket boots and nifty. First off, I don't know why I did that. Such a fucking waste. But you can see down there my rocket boots are still equipped, even though I used the same macro I've used my entire life. Right now, my real boots are just sitting comfortably in my bags, but my weak aura isn't triggering. So one thing that I did is that I did the daily emblem farm yesterday and today, and I did the quest chain in the new dungeons.
Yeah.
So I knew that when we go to Sindragosa, I will be able to take the teleporter and buy the totem from the NPCs and get summoned up to the boss.
How big of a DPS gain is that totem for you?
Way over 100 on Lich King.
Oh, that's huge.
There's so many times during that fight you don't want to lightning bolt. Instead, you want to chain lightning. But having to play with the totem that only allows you to lightning bolt is so punishing. So getting the new one was actually huge.
Hell yeah. You guys also here have Creditor go down. This is your guys' Giga pull, and we do a similar thing, but we pull this down because of I don't know if it's the tactician that does this, but some of the mobs in here can do like a charge and it'll AoE knock people back and stun them. It happens to you, but this pull can be really intimidating. That's why we in our run opted to use all of our armies here, so that when we did get into the pull, they were dealing with the armies for like 40 or 60% of their HP, and then we did an AoE taunt. But you guys have an AoE taunt go out almost right after. Creditor's gonna go down pretty quick. There's the knockback and everyone gets kind of hit back. And now you have, you're rotating all of your infernals to get stuns.
Yeah, so rotating infernals while the DKs are summoning armies. I think you can see it somewhere in there that people are starting to summon it. But this pull turned to shit really fast, because when the Potpala dies, it's really hard for him to come back.
Yes, and he can't he doesn't have an AoE taunt. He's not gonna do anything. The armies slowly get up and start taunting, so that's good. It kind of saves you, because it got a little hectic. This is probably one of the scarier pulls in here right now, and it's gonna feel a lot easier when we do more damage and we can just down them within like the one army of the one DK we have. But you guys recovered pretty well, actually, really well. And Serenity has the orb from earlier, so he's doing 60k DPS. What did he peak at?
Yeah, I actually don't know, but if he would have misplayed that pull, we wouldn't have had the DPS to do it probably.
Yeah, so, no shot. Look, he's 85k DPS. He's like triple anyone plus.
Yeah.
90.
So actually shout out to Serenity for not fucking that up, because even when you get the orb, when you are the guy in your guild in charge of doing that, you can't fuck it up, or this pull will turn into a wipe for sure.
Yeah, if you don't have the DPS to finish it before it kills you and stuff. And then the tacticians can do they stun people, so then they'll stun the tanks, and your tank can actually still die again, right? So this can be really intense. Great job for you guys. Let me see. Serenity, I think, sent me the... Oh, sweet. Let me see if he sent me the rogue tech. Okay, so he said... Honor amongst thieves, gain the combo point, someone in your group crit heals or damage. Nether Blade, tier 4 gives you so trigger the pull. That's what you use. The tier 4 would trigger the pull. Me and the Pharaoh would stealth past the Gauntlet towards Dreamwalker after Saurfang. Then he would spam heal me while I target the Archmage. Dreamwalker encounter. Spot common points, spam slice and dice. Dreamwalker would start and you would vanish and the gates open. The entire Gauntlet disappears. No way. The entire Gauntlet would be gone. That would be fucking juice. That would have been such a skip.
Yeah, and we managed to do it maybe 3 or 4 times very consistently on the PTR before it got like patched.
And then he just spams the slice and dice, and then he just vanishes when he gets the aggro. That's awesome. See, that's the type of things. Those are the type of things that I think are the most fun, and I love like the innovation that goes into the world first races, right? Like kind of like you were saying earlier with what we did or were doing with Saurfang. It's the world first races because anything goes, quote unquote, right? For world first, instead of like speed runs, there's a lot of limitations. But on world first, it's like, what can you find out? What's the craziest thing you could do to actually just get it? And that's a fucking crazy one.
I mean, that was the big selling point for me going into Progress. Like, I have a history with a couple of people there that I played in Progress back in vanilla private servers right before when they were first created.
Mm-hmm.
And when I wanted to get back into Classic, I really wanted to be in a guild that did both realm first raiding and speedruns. I wanted it all. Okay, so here a good thing is that here I can actually use, so if you pause real quick, there's going to be the empowered vortex, and we have a sign where people should run.
Mm-hmm.
But the way it works is that every player becomes a center of a vortex, right? So I know that I'm going to have a DK player running towards where he's assigned, but if I position myself, I can use him to get bounced back to the boss. So if he just does his assignment and I don't do my assignment, I can abuse him to have more uptime. So you can see here when you play.
Is he at least getting knocked into the wall so he doesn't get knocked even further, or do you knock him really far? Let's see.
I don't give a fuck, dude. He's just a tool.
That's so savage. Oh, it is at least. Oh, he goes right further than you. That's so great. At least he gets knocked into the wall. That works perfect. I mean, better uptime, that's smart. Is that why you guys pull Valinar over to the side so that if you get knocked, your uptime doesn't really get scuffed? Or is there any other advantage?
I mean, when you play him close to the wall, then at least you don't get knocked further away, right? There's a wall preventing you from going further. But you could do what I did now anywhere in the room. You can just use your guildies as like a bounce to get back to where you want to go. So when people are like, oh, spread out, don't stack, you can be like, or we can fucking stack, and you use them to have more uptime instead.
I love it. It also launches them further away, so now anyone that watches this and tries it, they're each going to be like trying to be the person that's a little closer and trying to be the person that gets knocked.
Yeah, so this is the type of thing that I don't want to. So a lot of the things I do, I don't really tell the other melee players of Progress, because if all of us would be doing this, it would turn into chaos, right?
Yes.
So as long as they do what this sheet says, I'm fine.
Here, did you have to help healing because of the damage? Because the movement debuff that you get from this boss that stacks up on yourself is on a server tick. So you can actually time it where you can move and you won't get the buff to stack up anymore.
Yeah, so I don't really track that function, right? So if I would be able to track that, I could probably have stuttered forward. But honestly, I was just so fucking tilted that I just wanted us to wipe and go again at this point.
When you got knocked back?
Even move out. I mean, this wasn't even an empowered vortex. This was just the tank being slow at dragging the boss.
Yeah, all the melee lost uptime on that.
Yeah, exactly. But some of the Death Knights have like AMS. They don't really give a fuck if this happens. Whereas I'm an enhancement shaman that keep hearing in YouTube guides how I'm squishy and shit. So I got a bit insecure, so I couldn't move back.
Those damn YouTubers, man.
Yeah,
So-
they keep telling me I can't do shit.
They don't know shit. Well, you're an anomaly of your class, right? Like comparatively, you're in a different position than damn. A lot of people took a bit of damage, but you guys dealt with that well. But like, then you have to think about like every other enhance that you've seen, right? Which you've obviously noted the other enhances that you've seen.
Yeah, I think that a lot of enhancement shaman players play the class because they are just happy to be there. Like, oh, thank you guys for inviting me. I'm here. I want to press lust for you guys. Oh, you're so good. Please let me come to your raid. But they should be thanking you for being there, in my opinion.
So that's, oh my gosh, that's when your weak aura finally went off. So you finally got your boots off. Played the whole fight with boots.
Yeah, that was a bit rough.
That happens. What caused you guys to wait there for a second? Do you know if it was just like you needed mana for a second, or you were buffing up or anything like that?
I think it's because one of the tanks was like on the opposite side of the door that we decided to go for. So he just had to run through the group to get up into the front. So we just had to wait. But probably with more aggressive pre-moving in the future, when we have more gear and shit, that type of wait doesn't need to happen.
Yeah, it's minimal. It just, once you start thinking, like, my mind always goes towards speedruns and optimizing, and I'm like, yeah, you lost some time there, you know?
Yeah,
but definitely. This is really sick that you pull this pull all the way back, so you have full uptime of whoever grabbed the orb, which is the Lash. It looks like the Hunter orb.
Yeah, I do a mistake here. You can see in the middle of my screen there, it said that we didn't have Wind Fury, and that's because our Blood Decay tank has actually ran so far up ahead that he is not within range anymore, and I don't really pick up on that, so that's a mistake on my end, but it's a really good pull that he does.
Was it the blood that brought that down back to you guys? Who goes up and grabs that? Oh,
Blood Decay, I think.
Oh, it is. Wow. That is a really good pull.
Yeah. Cabs has that down. He does it well.
Yeah, I think it's something that we definitely didn't do, but it's also nice thinking about it from the min-maxy nerdy part, where it's like it won't fuck up your ICDs, and instead for a DK, before you run into this pull, you would have to swap your trinkets, like if you do it individually when you get up on the stairs. One DK dead. RIP.
Yeah, I can't really say anything to make him look better.
I love it. And that's another like cost of time a little bit, but you guys are gonna get a feast, you're gonna move in and then just instantly go into the boss. What do you think are some of the strongest classes to get the bite early? Because I have my opinions right now, but I'm curious what yours are.
So going into
Killers for okay.
Classic like this, I always believe that Warlock for an early snapshot and a Shadow Priest is super solid early choices.
Oh, look at the time. That's how. Oh, I think then you guys are gonna get a Warlock to do it. Yeah. See, right there, even again, it's like it always like triggers me just seeing like any sort of pauses. But again, like you're saving time overall throughout the raid, even if healers have to wait there for mana because you're just running 4 heals, right? And so that's just saving time because you have more DPS.
Yeah, our healer team played really fucking well. They don't have much room for error. You've seen DPS players do mistakes, dying here and there, but if a healer out of 4 would have the same level of gameplay, we wouldn't get this far. Like, it's much more important role for these types of races.
Yeah, there would have been wipe for sure.
Yeah.
Like they all have to play perfectly the entire time, and big grats to them for doing it. I love it.
Yeah, so I mean, I think I counted that I've done 6 or 7 progressive ICCs on private servers, and this is my 8th, I think. And I started being a main tank, and then I became a Discipline Priest main, and then I became a Resto Druid main, and then I became an Enhancement Shaman main. So I've always gone down the influential ladder on how
Of
much you can
importance.
actually impact.
Yeah. I'm putting myself in a situation where I no longer have to give a fuck about anyone. I'm just so tired of telling people to pains up me or, oh, you want PI. Like, don't talk to me. Is my preferred level of playing this game.
That's why you don't have to look at the sheet and assignments, because you're like, I'm the enhanced shaman. As long as I'm pumping it and I'm alive, I'll drop my totems. I know where to place them. You don't have to call anything other than that second bloodlust.
Yeah, pretty much. You don't really. It's like being a mage DPS. You only have to care about yourself. It's a very nice role to have.
Yeah, the selfishness. I love it. And you have
It's just nice.
Xander was bit first, so he's doing like 20k, 18k, and then I'm assuming Nexter gets the second, so your Shadow Priest, yeah. And then later on, Feral Druids. I mean, we'll see when we get 30% buff how stupid this is.
Yeah, you can find throughout the VOD many situations where I'm casting chain heals and interrupting, and it's like, yeah, of course you should be, but being able to seamlessly transition from, okay, I'm a selfish pumper, to being like, I'm pumping heals right now or I'm interrupting right now. I feel like a lot of people like struggle with knowing when they should be focusing on which. So I think that's like a thing that comes with experience if you've done this fight 400 times.
Yeah, because during the transition, you just stopped and you started healing, chain healing, and I mean, you're not really doing damage. The boss is in the air. You're not bit also. So like all that, or the most use you can do is to help your healers, because that's a little bit of, it's some stress on them, right? Without like, especially if there weren't CDs.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, what else can I do? I can hard cast lightning bolts for a couple thousand damage. That's nothing compared to the potential chain heal value and making healers have an easier time prioritizing who they are healing. So it feels like I'm carrying more if I do that when needed. But you are gonna see in this VOD, I actually play heal hands on Sindragosa and Dreamwalker, which is something that I thought I would never say.
I feel like I saw you memeing on Rugs when he was talking about heal hands.
Yeah, I kind of have to apologize to all of the Wrath pre-patch boys. Like, who were they? They were like Uru and something.
Oro, yeah.
Rugs, Jordi, like all these people. They were like, oh, what about if you play with double Earth Living and you proc? And I was just sitting there making fun of them, being like a bully. And now here I am, full healing gear, just doing it the next two fights.
That's so epic. I love it, dude. The Anfall healer redemption arc.
Yeah, I hate it. They just keep giving me MP5 items that I have to go and vendor after every raid.
And then you move out to your caster, or to the person that's going to bite you. That's something that I think everyone should do, is if you are getting bitten, you should move to them, because they can keep pumping damage. If they can just instantly bite you and keep pumping, it's way better for the fight itself. So like, don't make them run to you. It's so dumb.
Yeah, I mean, I think I should probably say that somewhere here, that maybe I'm playing selfishly a lot, or like I'm using my guildies for this and that, but it's always in the spirit of the most raid DPS is the correct call. So
Yeah.
here I'm being a bit greedy, hoping that maybe we get a Crimson Choker or something. I see the rest of my guild just running away. I'm like, bro, you guys just walked away from a potential upgrade, you absolute donkeys. But they are just like running to stopping up there, I guess.
Yeah, because you're gonna do I would assume there's gonna be a bubble pull here in a second, right? So like, you're gonna do this no matter what. And
so I think sadly, since the tech that you showed earlier was removed on like the last couple of days, we didn't really have time to find a good way of doing this. So instead we do it like idiots, and it works.
yeah, this is this is the slowest way to do, well, this is the normal way to do this, right?
You're being far too kind. We know that this is some Neanderthal gaming, but we just didn't have the time to come up with anything when Blizzard decided to remove it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's actually one changing things last minute can be really risky, right? Because people will assume that you're playing the old way, and some people will assume you're playing the new way. So if you were to do like a bubble pull and pull all of this or anything else, like have already triggered this as well, then someone might just run in and like die and stagger the pull, and it would have been a lot worse than just taking it taking it the slow way, slow and steady.
Yeah, it's painful to watch the VOD right now. It didn't feel that slow when we were doing it, because I think at this point our voice comm was increasingly becoming more and more hectic. We talked about during before the race that, okay, everybody knows what they're doing, stay calm, let these and this people talk. But at this point I think it was already like full-on clown fiesta. And I don't think we ever really bounced back comm-wise. It became pretty demonic at this point forward.
Did you guys know like where you were? We make sure to like not to turn off anything that could notify us of like any sort of competition. Are you guys aware in the run at all of like any sort of competition, how other people are doing, or are you just like in it yourselves and like talking about like your own fuck ups or like whatever?
Yeah, so we just focus on trying to do the best run that we can do. I think that leadership has some sort of insight
BM top
on
DPS.
how the other guilds are doing, that they have that info in order to make some decisions. But we as players and raiders are encouraged to just don't worry about others, focus on yourself. If you divide your attention, you'll only play worse. Being ahead doesn't always make you better. Being behind definitely doesn't make you better. So
yeah, and this is the first raid where like if someone just wiped, then that would have been it, especially on Lich King, right? Like the Lich King wipe is just so brutal, and I feel like that fight you can very consistently get it every time, but like something could go wrong. So it was like just keep playing no matter what happens. Even if we're ahead or behind, we could win.
yeah, for sure. And we also felt going into tier 10 that we won tier 9 by tech, but we felt pretty confident that if we just play solid here, we are gonna win unless our opponents have some really sick tech that we weren't able to discover. But like you say, Progress has a track record of being the people that come up with the weird shit. So I felt like there was some weird type of confidence going into this run, and I think we performed better than we had hoped.
What was the choice here on these two ads not to just bring them into the boss? Have people still not respect, or like?
Yeah, you can see a pending summon there because some guy, we had some issues that he took the summon, but then the encounter was in progress, like sort of what you maybe had during Saurfang. So now you will witness the downfall of Anfall's ego.
The heal hands.
Yeah, I hate this.
At least you have a Valinir, you know? They're like, it feels a little better. So you guys are using a BM crab pet. So you got the pet tech to have your pet, as people don't know or might know, to have your pet just stand in the middle of the boss and have the paladin's heals just splash off of it and just do crazy healing on the boss.
Yep. We also aren't I think you guys weren't playing with a mage the entire run, were you?
No.
I think Thompson and me spoke, yeah.
Yeah, we played no mage today.
Yep. During our PTR, we did some runs without a mage, some runs with a mage, and it just turned out that if he plays really well and solid, then he can have a spot up until Lich King. That's pretty much how we felt. But on the Lich King encounter, mages felt really underwhelming.
It's so funny because it's going to transition so much, right, to like mages being so strong, but it does feel bad. And in most people's guilds, like mages are really good. Like the mages will do a really good job. It's just like when you're min-maxing to the most, like we were, right, for World First Race, that like the mage on Lich King doesn't need to be brought, and then like the mage, if it's being brought, is because you have a player like you that's playing on enhanced, right? Like you have a really good player that's pumping on it.
Yeah, and it's also that I have like no competition. We're a small group of friends that just want to do the content together. So there's like the people I'm fighting against are mostly dads and people are playing semi-casually. So I feel pretty confident in keeping my spot in progress.
I love it. And you're healing here, but you're not going to take any of the portals. You're just going to throw heals.
Yeah, exactly. So all of the portals are already taken by people who can actually heal. So instead I'm sitting out here role playing as a heal hands. But I think if you go into the log, I think you have like 5k, 6k HPS, which is low, but you don't really need my DPS on these mobs. The fight is a joke. Oh shit, you're gonna put me on the spot here, right on.
No, now we're checking, you know, everyone needs to know. J-Ruse, world first 15 years later. Dreamwalker, healing.
Please.
5k you did! 5k HPS. That, I mean, that's a lot. There's almost 1 million heals. That adds up pretty significantly, considering that like the number 1 heals is at 3.4. That's a lot. That's actually pretty nice. How fast is this fight? 2 minutes and 43 seconds. Oh, I'm so curious. Now I want to look at other Valithrias really fast. Okay.
Yeah, I think ours is gonna be up there for sure.
Yeah, yours, it has to be. That's super fast. That's really nice. Yeah, 2 minutes 43 duration. That it's the fastest by far. I was like, I know ours is really fast, but we don't have the off-spec people like doing a ton of heals, right? As much. So yeah, it's literally the fastest one in the world. Yeah, it's juice. I was.
Yeah,
that's nice.
I wish I could take credit. Maybe I am like 2 of those seconds.
Yeah, you're 17 seconds. That's all you did.
Yeah.
And you had a healer without buff too. Oh, because Kia dies. How did Kia die on this fight?
So I think the tank that was picking up zombies on one of the sides decided to just roadkill, like do a drive-by on Kia.
Savage. Absolute savage.
Yeah, it was just too much talking from Kia at that point. I had to shut them up.
And you guys use Rocket Boot in here. Let's see what happens. So we decided it wasn't worth it to Rocket Boot because you a lot of times have to wait for this, right? So there it was. So like anyone that Rocket Booted there technically lost time, right? Like, because you can Rocket Boot now to the middle and have more uptime, especially if you have someone that instantly gets down here with like a bop or something that falls all the way down, because then they can go in and trigger this gauntlet. So you could have saved some time here for sure.
Yeah, that could have done like 10 plus seconds if people would have done it that way.
Yeah, and that's where like, I mean, once we get towards the speed runs, that's where all of the optimization, like you start getting to like every single part gets just so optimized.
Yeah, it's gonna be wild. Like maybe 4 weeks from now, it's gonna be a completely different damage profile and tanking profile, because we talk a lot about the DPS buff and shit, but tanks are gonna take literally no damage.
Oh yeah,
and we're gonna be able to scale down so much on healers as well.
Yeah, scale down on heals, bring more DPS. You don't need like, the blood DK is so good right now, and I had a bunch of people questioning me when I was like, I think that the best runs are gonna be blood DK as the main tank. I just think they are, as like the main like single target chonky tank, you know? And then like now when tanks get a lot of gear and we get the percentage buffs, it's just like you have 30% more HP and 30% more healing and full gear. You're never gonna die.
No, and I think the fact that Unholy Frenzy resets on every encounter ends and shit makes it have so much value compared to private servers. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what 30% speedrunning is gonna look like.
And you have feral buffs, so then you could do like an insane pull right after everything, and a feral with that and swipe is just like everything's deleted. If you bring a feral, we'll see how that goes, right? The blood DK argument is only if you end up not doing the Giga Mage stack. Here, I guess it's not really slower than pulling it all together with like a bubble pull, because they do get in pretty quickly. But the big dragons, they come down time gated on the little whelps dying. So like there's one whelp right above you that's pretty high HP. I'm kind of surprised like any unholy DK didn't just like grip this so you guys could focus it, because that's what makes it take more time to get the dragons to spawn and come down, not having these guys alive, the handlers.
Yeah. So I'm not the guy making these calls. I don't want any like leadership stuff, but I'm pretty sure in our guild we believe that it was gated by these handlers somehow. Maybe somebody can fact check me on this, but I think we got it the wrong way. That we thought these handlers somehow triggered the dragons coming down and not the small drakes.
Yeah,
I think that's what our strat was.
but I do like that you guys do double dragon. This is, I mean, we didn't, but I think it's gonna be the play for everyone eventually, is gonna be the double dragon. And you can just cleave these down and just pump. Why?
It feels safe, yeah.
Yeah, it does. I think it felt safe always. Why do you guys pull it all the way back here though? Do you have a reasoning to pull the dragons back here, or is it just because you're gonna fight the boss more in a position? Do you do the stair strategy for Sindragosa?
So the major reason we pulled them back here is because we really dislike having the platform covered with their corpses, because it makes it extremely hard to see sometimes if you get unlucky with the blasts. So we just found that put the corpses here, mount up, and then play wherever you want to play.
I love that. It is when the corpses are in a really terrible position, like an ice blast can be underneath them, and you just are like, I think it's under this dragon. I don't know. I'm pretty sure, right? Like you usually can like try to wiggle your camera to see, but this is a lot safer because these corpses last forever.
Yeah. Yeah, I like this, but now it's time for me to go heal hands again. I don't know how much I healed on this fight. I didn't have that good of a pull, but I think you can pump really hard. I'm not even playing that well from like a healing perspective. I'm just casting chain heal like full on Autobots.
When you're not doing any sort, like you don't have to do any sort of spec swap. It's just the weapon imbuement and some gear swappage, right? And then just play style.
Yeah, you don't swap any talents at all, because you really need the shamanistic rage on this fight, because having shamanistic rage makes it so that you cannot get the same I don't know even know what it's called,
imbued
unchained magic.
Yeah, unchained magic. Yeah.
So I never have to deal with that. So you can see my cast bar down there, it's just full on fiesta. Maybe I hit some damage sometime when there's nothing to heal, but in phase 2 I'm just standing still casting chain heal. That's it.
And are you guys still running 4 healers during this fight? Like for the most part of this fight? Have you swapped?
I think we have a Resto Druid here. So we play 5.
Okay, because he came in for Valithria, yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, Urias was Resto Druid. Dude, you pumped also on here. You have 1.5 million healing. And then Nexus heals is pretty juiced too, yeah.
Yeah, we play triple Olipala, so we basically keep the same roster as we do on Valithria. But the reason we really liked heal enhancement here, because we were doing a lot of pulls, and we noticed that sometimes we got really unlucky with unchains and shit, and we were just lacking some raid healing, it felt like. So when I started playing heal hands, that was completely fixed. And as long as we don't get one more air phase, the DPS loss of having me as a DPS player isn't as bad, you know?
Yeah, that's like the big stopgap for anything like this that has phases, is like as long as you don't get an extra phase, which would just cost a ton of time, then being able to play safe is really nice. Plus, it also in the last phase, like you're out there healing, but you said you literally aren't getting the unchained magic, which is gonna be choosing a lot of healers in the final phase. So like you are keeping people alive for sure towards the end. You're able to just continue casting.
Yeah, no, it's really strong from a raid healing perspective. I don't know how good it is for tank healing in that phase. I do it, but I feel like the value is mainly just bouncing chainings.
I mean, there's another, is Dogga on Resto, right? To keep, yeah, because Resto Shaman just gives that juicy buff to the tank heals, so.
Yeah, so we have a Resto Shaman that is playing the entire run as Resto, I think.
Yeah. It's just so crucial, especially like now, right? So early on in the phase.
Yeah, I think it's possible that the speedrunning healing roster could be something very similar to the Ulduar speedrunning roster. That would be like Discipline Priest, Holy Pala, Resto Shaman. Like those three together is so good.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna need too many more, right? Once we have all of the gear and the buffs. I think it's gonna be interesting to see how much we can min-max. This phase is gonna be wild mainly because of the buff, right? Like the gear you get in ICC is so juiced for a lot of classes. Mage fucking tier set bonus is like so ridiculous. Like when bosses just fall over, you can just bring a bunch of them.
Yeah, and once again, it's just a testament to how much players today have learned from the mistakes and good stuff from the past, right? Many guilds were able to kill this on 0% difficulty the day of release. If you compare that to like legendary guilds back in the day. And then you think about the 30% buff that was added to help guilds clear the content, and still most guilds didn't.
And
then you
gear.
have guilds like and gear, and then you have guilds like Nota and Progress that kill the content today on the hardest difficulty on release. But we are also gonna have 30% buff and full bis. Like, what type of joke content is this gonna be for us? I think it's gonna be like Nax.
Yeah, it's gonna be too easy. Like we're gonna blow this up too quickly. Yep. This is gonna be super hard for people. This raid is gonna like destroy guilds. But once we get the buffs, and the top guilds are just gonna be like, this is like a cakewalk, right?
Yeah, I see that Shine just wrote in your chat that there's 11 confirmed kills right now on the logs, and I believe that on Algalon the first week of Ulduar there was less than one full page. It was like 24 or something full guilds.
I'm curious how many are gonna get it though after today, right? My prediction was under 20. My prediction was under 20. What do you think?
It's a good estimate. I think it's 11 today. I don't think it's gonna go higher than 15 this week.
Yeah, because for usually, I mean, I guess not usually, but like sometimes some of the guilds that are obviously going to get it, like us and like Nota, never even raids on day one. So like there's some top guilds that just didn't raid today, and then there maybe be like a couple that maybe could be able to get it down and just like have to do more wipes and more runs. 50 is like a lot of attempts. Like that's a lot of time, considering the fight can be like 15 to 18 minutes, you know?
Yeah. No, I think that every guild, no matter if you're Nota, Progress, Beef Bar, whatever, you have to wipe a lot. You just have to learn these fights. And we did it on the PTR, and these guilds are gonna have to do it on live. And I think the only advice I can give is just, you need to give this time. Even the best guilds, it just takes time to learn.
Yeah, literally. And then gear will make it so much easier. Tank's not just dying to something so quickly. Oh, a chained ice tomb at the end. Someone's a noob. It's okay. I think we had one of these today too.
Yeah, it's painful.
It feels so bad. It's like, what are you doing there? Why are you so close to the guy?
Yeah, the only thing is that people space out.
Especially when you're here, you're really close to the end. And I'm curious if you guys do like swaps here. We swapped out some DKH for Warlocks here, so I leave. Yeah, you're seeing a Hearth right there. 2 people just left the group. I left the raid as well to bring in another Warlock for our Lich King kill. Although I feel like you can definitely get a clean Lich King with like variety of comps right now. Oh yeah, you get the Sigil or Totem.
Yeah, I had no idea which fucking NPC was selling the totem. I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna have to figure this out as I go.
Wait, wasn't it that? Oh, you got it. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I was like, wasn't it that NPC? Yeah. That was pretty nice though. That wasn't too bad. Also, I mean, you have to wait here anyways. You're doing summons for the boss. You're actually just setting up. Oh, because you are going to get summoned, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just making sure that all of my item sets are good for Lich King. And then I'm gonna respec once I get summoned to Lich King, so that we have improved Wind Fury for the pod.
Yeah. Did you guys... So before you fought Valithria, you guys went back and picked up the 2 NPCs, and then, I mean, obviously you didn't bring them into Valithria, which was scuffed because of the summon. But did you guys ever have an issue? We saw it for the first time today, where one of the NPCs didn't run into the room and kept you in combat forever.
No, I don't think that's why we didn't do it. No, I don't think we've had that happen to us. I'm not sure why that happened to you.
Yeah, we've never seen it. Sometimes if you move really quick, you can just skip those NPCs entirely. But now just knowing that it's not reliable, like sometimes those NPCs literally don't even make it into Valithria's room, and you could just full skip them, which just saves a little bit more time also. But somehow it was in combat, and like even after the raid, we could go back and just see it just meleeing a mob. It was so late.
I mean, you guys had that Valkyr bullshit, and then you had that mini boss bullshit. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, it was a good day for everything to go wrong that we haven't seen before. When we've both just done so many runs of this, right? You've seen like almost everything that could go wrong. What is the pre-pull setup specifically for Enhanced Shaman, other than you do your like trinket, right? But what else do you do?
So there's a jewel crafting helm from Durnhold Heroic that has a 2% chance to proc spell power, so you get that shit. Then there's a neck from the Shattered Sun Offensive that has a chance to proc spell power, you get that. Then you have the tailoring enchant on a random cloak. Then you have tier 4 chest for strength totem. Then you have tier 4 legs for strength totem. And then you have Mount Hyjal healing ring, because it can proc on overhealing. And then you get Dying Curse as your trinket, because you don't need ICD on your
Rain.
Rain.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So once we get rid of Rain, maybe we play with DFO and Phylactery and shit, then it will not be worth it to do this anymore. So right now is the only time that Dying Curse is supposed to be in there.
That's still though, it's crazy how much goes into the pre-pull with the old gear too for Enhanced Shaman to optimize it. It's great.
Yeah, it's good. And sure, you get all of them to proc, the entire Christmas tree lights up and it feels so good, the dopamine is just showering you, but I really think it's overhyped. I look at the damage done by my Fire Ally, and it seems like if my Demo Warlock had a good proc, it's more important than if I did.
Is it Hadouken in this raid? He just said...
Yeah, but today I've been flaming Hadouken this entire past couple of weeks that I think his pet critting too slow. Like he keeps shouting, "Oh, look at this demon pact, it's insane!" And I'm like, "Yeah, 6 seconds too late, fucking monkey." And now today it was good. It did it in less than 2 seconds.
Yeah, your Fire Ally is full parsing the ads. That's the annoying thing about Fire Ally. You can't control it, right? So you can't tell it to come over to you.
I mean, the correct call would be here to just be wary of that and just get rid of it. I got rid of it there, but I noticed it way too late. And I talk about it. I published a video on YouTube talking about how I play this fight. You can see here how I rocket boots to chase after Lich King here. I don't think any other melee does it. I don't know, they're pussies, but you should do it.
I love that too. Yeah, a little bit of extra damage is always useful. There's no point in not having a little bit of extra damage. Although you guys, even with the lower heals, you did get to the enrage phase. You did. I think almost anyone's gonna hit the enrage phase. You have to have a crazy clean kill right now to not get it. But getting the extra damage is always just useful and kind of free.
Yeah, I think we've had kills where we didn't need to go into enrage, but I would say like half of them have been enrage kills, and it's always because we lose people during Valk phase, I feel. And to keep it 100, I think hunters failing their mechanic has been the #1 reason we have to do this as 24 instead of 25 people.
Because they fall and they don't come back?
I mean, we have a meme in progress where it's like, okay, they type in their hunter channel that, oh, I'm 4 out of 4, I'm 5 out of 5. But I just counter meme it and say that you're always 1 out of 1. Because whenever they fail, they just start over at 1 out of 1 constantly. Because they never look about when they fucked up.
That's so fair. One thing I want to point out that I don't know if you guys notice this too, is whenever the Raging Spirits do choose to be like a Boomkin, they have a larger hitbox than other Raging Spirits. So when you're like inside of their hitbox meleeing them, or if you're a melee, you want to stand at max range so you don't get hit by their AoE, their frontal cone.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I noticed that, but I think we had early on, we had a lot of people dying to the Raging Spirits would like stutter step and then do their shout in front of people or whatever. I don't know. I think it's just a learn to play issue, honestly, that you as a melee just have to look at what you're hitting and just adjust. Oh, it stepped, I stepped, kinda.
Yeah, be perfectly, or just like know how to move. This is, I mean, you got 3 Valkyrie in the first one. The second one, pretty good. You just get 2 Valkyries. In the first Valkyries, one person was kind of out of position, so they didn't move perfectly in the same direction. Oh, they're not doing it again. Is this just you guys misplaying this, or is this on purpose?
That they spread out like this?
Yeah.
No, it's probably that either that Julius that has the mark is being too greedy, being too close to the center, or it's the people stacking on him that are just being too stressed out because we're feeling that, holy shit, this could be a kill on the first pull. We had a good start, like. So it's probably a mix of Julius playing a bit too greedy and people not respecting the mark. Like, yeah. I'm somewhat stacked most of the time, but I know a lot of people are dealing with nerves right here. Here we have the worst possible grab, I think. We have triple paladin grab. It's so painful, dude.
Oh, no, like very few stuns. And it's like the healers, now you have to like worry about all the damage going out. Yeah, but you guys do pre-move for Defile really well, which is really nice.
Yeah. I'm actually curious to see in our kill damage done to Valkyries. I feel like it's something that Enhancement Shaman does pretty well, but maybe today I didn't perform as well as I should.
I can pull it up.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Damage done. Valkyries. Yeah, you did pretty well. Right, 2 Unholies, then you Boomkin, and look at these hunters. And look at Hadouken, he didn't even attack them. What the heck, dude?
Yeah, but I honestly think that enhancement is super good on these type of situations. 3 to 4 targets is like where we excel.
Yeah, because also they're all, initially when they get summoned, they're stunned, so you're just slapping them with your AoE as well, right? And you're consistently able to chain them. You can just put your totem in between where they're moving, so they slowly move and there's like a lot of uptime.
Yeah. No, it's a really good. This is like as fun as it gets as an Enhancement Shaman to play this game, is this phase.
This is also just a really fun Fury Warrior fight too. This is where Fury Warriors love to crank. Too bad for Unholies looks so good here at the beginning, you know, like this early in the phase, because we're just like spreading diseases to the ads in the first phase, so we're at like 20-30k DPS sometimes.
Did you get muted?
Oh, I might have accidentally took my foot off my foot pedal. I have a push to talk foot pedal that like sometimes works and sometimes just stops working randomly. It is what it is. It's because I now have 2 PCs running so I can stream. Yeah, my old PC sucks.
So this grab right here is Warlock double hunter, right? That should be the dream. You can only push the boss and we're dragging it. But here we have a hunter calling that you can't rest me. And when the hunter says you can't rest me, then you know he kind of fucked up.
Oh, does one of the hunters fall here? This is this is absolutely the dream. Yeah, is like all three of them, especially on the last Valkyrie phase, is that you don't have to do anything and you're just pumping the boss. You can phase it really easily, really cleanly.
Yeah, this is the absolute dream. But he suffers, right? And he dies. But the way I see it, it's just one less guy going into the last couple of phases that can drop a bad defile and ruin my glory. That's how I see it.
Like, you're gonna hit the DPS check, it's fine, so don't worry.
Yeah. This I mean, no offense, but the person who died, he'd struggled the entire raid, or not the entire raid, but he's died on a couple of fights. So when he died, unironically, he could just lean back and get the world first. Just relax.
That's so savage.
But it's his first race with us.
That's true. Because you guys, I don't know where Church went to Beef Bar, right? I think. Yeah, I heard that. Have you guys experienced getting 3 Raging Spirits here? In this last phase, you can get 3 or 4. It's a bit of RNG. It's not always 4.
Yeah, I don't know exactly. I'm just gonna field craft it and say maybe 1 in 4 times, 1 in 5 times. You just get 1 less spirit, and I don't know why.
It's a thing to do with the spawn timer. If the 3rd spirit spawns after 16 seconds are left on the phase, then you won't get a 4th spirit. Super stupid, but it does make the fight harder, because now with the extra spirit, you do need to keep DPSing down the 3rd spirit and make sure it goes down instead of just keeping it alive or leaving it alive.
Yeah, so going inside of this room, I'm so happy you can't hear our voice come, because right now it's a mix of a raid lead trying to calm people down and people feeling the need to communicate everything that's happening to them and everything that will happen to them. And it was so chaotic. And I think by the time we go into the next room, you have an opposite force, people screaming, shut up, shut up. It's complete utter circus in the voice.
Yeah, I feel like once you're getting towards the hectic end of the fight too, it's like, why not just clear comms really quickly? Yeah, why are the spirits so far from the Lich King when you're cleaving them? So you're not really getting any shared DPS, you're just hard focusing the spirit down. But now you're not getting any damage on the boss at this point, right?
Yeah, we felt like the extra damage you would get on cleaving Lich King here would be nice, obviously, but we also completely want to control the spirits, the vile spirits being spawned, and we want people to totally focus down the ragings. So I don't know why, but we had better success doing it like this than grouping them up together and maybe doing bad screeches. And this way we never had anybody walking in front of the spirits. It was just super clean, felt very easy to replicate.
And you guys actually downed both spirits even with 4. We've been very consistent with killing the boss and leaving a spirit up, just being off tanked at the end, and then your damage is just focusing the boss. So you guys lose a ton of, that's where, like, not only having a person down, but you guys are losing a ton of damage on the boss in this phase. So like, you're just not really worried about the DPS check, especially running one less healer.
Yeah, it Polly is saying in the chat, but now that both Ragings are dead, the Prot Paladin that we're tanking them is basically free to soak, freeing 1 more DPS to just pump. So I think this is just safer, as long as we felt super confident that if the boss enrages, we can get 8-9% of his health before he kills us.
Is that how much you guys have done before?
Yeah, I think the highest VOD I have is almost 8% of us being able to kill him once he goes in rage. And then we wipe to him casting his, what's it called, Harvest Soul.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's so much damage. But realistically, yeah, once you get to that enrage phase, it's like, until his Harvest Soul goes out, it's like free damage. You're just kiting him around forever.
Yeah, exactly. As long as you deal with the soaking, even if he's enraged, you're probably going to be able to get him down at least 5%, even as most guilds.
Yeah, so anyone watching, this fight is super hectic and very tight, but if you play clean and consistent, you can just always, you will always get it down eventually. But I still think under 20 guilds get it down week 1. I'm actually surprised it was already 11. That's actually pretty impressive from everybody.
Yeah, I think it's because many of the guilds that managed to kill it on the PTR felt like, man, we kill it on the PTR, we can do it on live. And they wanted to compete. I mean, you guys are in a perfect example, right?
Yeah. It was like, might as well just go for it. This guy, we took him down. Let's go one shot everything. And then we have 2 wipes to these stupid bugs.
Yeah, it's a shame, but yeah, I have no idea how that stuff happened to you guys.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to look into it more, but it happens, you know. We'll see. Speedruns will be really fun, but it was such a fun race to do, and
yeah,
you guys were just like in such a solid spot. Like right here, you know that it's like now there's only one more like down phase, right? Like one more Frostmourne phase. So you're pretty much getting to the wire, and you know that you're probably gonna get it.
Yep. Yeah, we know by now that the only way we wipe now is if the Wild Spirits just comes and wipes out the entire raid. So as long as, and sadly, since everybody knows this, people are starting to get nervous because like, oh shit, we're doing it. So at this point, voice.com is complete garbo. I've never seen us this bad.
That's so funny. It's the one time where you're like, we should just focus. You're just like, everybody's saying things.
Everybody feels like they have something really important to say, and it's like, bro, it's in the sheet that they tell you to read. I don't read, but you read it. Like, just do what it says.
I feel like it's so detrimental towards runs where it's like, just shut up. You like, everyone thinks that it's like, I'll soak this, and you're like, you don't need to do that. Someone's already doing it. Just shut up. But everyone needs to put in their little input.
Yep.
But from here, you basically have it, right? Berserk's in 30 seconds, but it doesn't matter, right? He's going to be Berserk when you guys go back up, and you're just going to kite him around forever. The boss is down to 15%.
Look at this movement by Julius. Absolute shad. Like, this call from our lead to go center and around it's ice cold, dude.
Yeah, I think having a really good, here, I'm going to watch that again. Having a really good lead person that you're all following in this phase, because things can get really hectic. You can just be like, what the fuck, dude? Why did these spawn here? This was a really nice call.
Yeah, this raid call is, I'm so happy that Julius, he performed so well tonight. Like, if it wasn't for him, I don't think we would have played as well.
And he's pumping, dude. Damn. He does well.
And the thing is that, okay, now I'm really dick riding a little bit, but I mean, the guy raid leads progress, he does splits in progress, he pumps in progress, and he plays arena. He is just doing all aspects of the game really, really well. Like, it's hard to not respect that.
No, it's okay. I see how you keep the enhanced shaman spot. Don't worry.
Thank you.
Just kidding.
You see me.
So yeah, this is now, you're in full enrage. The boss is gonna one-shot anyone he hits, but you can taunt the boss. So he's just literally getting taunted and rocket booted around, and you're just following him. New gargoyles, and then you just need to get him to 10.4% and you win.
Yeah, so an example of what our voice.com would sound like, you see that little pile of the file there in the center?
Yeah.
Every time people's camera point towards it, 8 people feel the need to scream, watch out for the defile, and it's just utter chaos in voice.
That's so funny. And then did you guys, actually you do this. You resurrect yourself, and the warlocks resurrect early, since Warcraft Logs changed the world first rules to the boss actually dying, not getting to this phase. So you guys actually resurrect yourselves and start pumping early so that you can bring them down that last 10% instead of waiting for Tyrion to resurrect.
Yeah, so right now I would say that my heart was beating pretty fast here, because it's not over till it's over, right? Who knows? We know that tier 9 was decided in just a matter of seconds. It would be devastating to lose right here if the system message would come up that some other guild had beaten us.
When you guys were here, I had my game on the other screen so that I could see it go out on the server. I was like, who's gonna get it? Yeah, I also was like thinking to myself, I was like, is Beefbar, they're not streaming? Are they just gonna take it right now? I'm like, you're just, look at you pulled up your achievements tab. That's so funny. Oh my god. The world first. I think this is a well-deserved. You played really, really well. You guys played really well, especially with like a setback on the loot ship, which is crazy to see. I can't believe that happened. That's like kind of wild. Did you guys saw it happen on PTR? Did you ever DM Blizzard about that?
I mean, we bug reported, right?
Yeah.
But I think we have a couple of people that have some sort of direct line that they have some other way of reaching people over there. Because I feel like sometimes the bug reports may not get that big recognition. But I don't know. I think we reported almost everything that we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that bug was, we were super scared about it. It wasn't fixed. It felt super scary.
Man, huge fucking grats, first of all. This was a sick run, super clean run, other than a bug that wasn't your fault. You guys pulled it all off. The hunter obviously had to die on Lich King and just had to let you guys down. But you guys did it. That was great. And there's like places, it's so intriguing to see now that there's so many places that can be like slightly faster with a little more optimization. Big GG's, man. I gotta say, this was such a fun race, and it was such a close race. Even with Beefbar was like minutes later, and then us minutes later. It was great. Nice way to like top off the hardest raid of Wrath of the Lich King. We'll see you in speed runs. Do you have anything else to say? Also, thank you for coming on and like doing this with me.
Yeah, no, I don't really interact with other content creators, but when you said that you wanted to have a chat, I always like been a fan of the stuff that you do, the way that you journalistically cover stuff, but you still do it with such a positive vibe. I've always appreciated the stuff that you do, Sarthe. Keep that up.
Joe, I appreciate that a lot, dude. I actually really do. Mad respect to everything you do. Huge grats. Keep the enhanced stream up and like show people that it's a lot better than stupid YouTubers say, man. I appreciate it. If you want any guides, tips, and tricks or other things for this raid, make sure to check out the channel. I will have a Heroic Lich King guide out probably tomorrow or in the next day. I have to spend some more time editing it. And from there, guys, I'll keep you updated on all things Wrath of the Lich King, all things WoW Classic, and whatever other games that I'm playing at the moment. So I'll see you all on the next one.